This is happiness, to be everything at once. Be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unburned.
Hey everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Mood Prep. My name is Dave Nixon and we're up to number 11 today in the coaching commandments, which is start basic and build. Now, starting basic and building from there is in contrast to starting complex and then cutting things out. As much as there's validity to starting some things, depending on situation and in the context and the intention, with the place, with complexity and then cutting things out, there's utility for it. But I'm going to really lean in and really advocate for starting basic and then building from there. And similar to the whole Q1-2 sort of thing as well, but there's 4 stages of really learning to embody and know something. The first stage is know of, then it's know about, then it's relate with, and then it's embody. Now, to really shift from the space of knowing about something to relating with it, and then a shift to embodying it, A, it takes time, B, it takes a lot of practice, but C, the other thing to pay attention to is that we want to be able to introduce one thing at a time and operate from the space of don't practice something till you get it right, practice till you can't get it wrong. And when we're in that space, where we're not just practicing something until we get it right, but we're practicing until we can't get it wrong, we start to really move into the space of embodiment. This is not something that can be really achieved in the space of 6 weeks, 4 weeks even. We can start to relate with whatever we're doing. We can start to relate with whatever we're doing. But to truly embody something, it takes time. This is the idea as well of like, technique is not black and white. There's not right and wrong technique when it comes to exercise, right? We want to shift from the idea of teaching the correct technique. We want to shift the idea from that to the idea of developing movement, helping a person develop kinesthetic awareness and developing movement within their own body, right? Now, there's a big difference in that because if I'm just going to teach technique, a lot of the time what's happening is that I'm just teaching the person a couple of cues, and we want to shift away from the idea of cues, but a couple of cues, right, about what position they should put their body in. But even neutral position isn't dictated by position, it's dictated by tension. And that's a really important distinction to make. We want to look at, and that's once again, cross industry, right? The really powerful thing around that is understanding that when we teach a client to focus on one thing at a time, right, but to start basic and then build as they gain momentum, to start with 3 sessions a week and then build into 4 rather than starting with 5 and realizing they're not making 5, then trying to go to 4 and then that's not really working because I'm already failing and now I'm doing 3 and now I'm not doing any, right? But to teach them to start basic and build on and to really aim to build momentum, like what we're starting to look at doing here is they're building a kinesthetic awareness, so they're building an actual stronger relationship with themselves and their body. Now, not just a relationship of going, I love myself or whatever. It's actually going, no, I know that something's out. I know that I'm good to go, or I haven't had enough sleep, or my glutes are they're I can feel that they're engaging, and I'm not just listening to technical points of where a barbell should end up, but I'm actually learning how to use my body to execute a movement, right? Really big difference. And when we're all in that space, we're operating all in that space. Now we're operating in this space where the client and the athlete takes responsibility for their own body and their own learning. And the trainer or coach is moving away from this codependency space. But the powerful thing about starting basic and building is that we're reinforcing what's true. And what we're reinforcing what's true is that it takes time. It takes time. It takes conscious practice, not just 10,000 hours of like mindless exercise. It takes conscious practice to develop and deepen your kinesthetic awareness and your kinesthetic relationship with yourself, right? And when we can be true to that, then it goes back to the old tortoise and hare story where the tortoise will win. In the long term, the tortoise will win because we don't want to encourage the idea of sacrificing progression for the sake of results. And what I mean by that is sacrificing the long-term vision of where we're trying to go, and what I'm really doing is so that I actually have fucking an understanding of my body when I'm 30, 40, 50, 60, and 70, rather than relying on some sort of external person to just tell me what to do with my body. When we're in that space, we're in a completely different space, but we must start basic. We must start basic and just build, and then build, and then build. Right, you lay a brick a day to build a house is a way to think about it. That's a very slow way to build a house, but you do understand my point. I hope you do. Or if you don't, then you don't. Too bad. But the key takeaway from all of this around starting basic is that you use it for programming, you use it for exercise selection, you use it for everything. It's basic is the fundamentals of just about anything. And when we do the fundamentals like excellent, we are miles ahead of people that have jumped to the fancy stuff too soon, right? You're better off doing the fundamentals excellent than the fancy stuff poorly, especially if you don't have an excellent foundation of your fundamentals, whatever that may be, for whatever it is that you do. And there's a fucking shit ton of power into doing it really, really well. But the other thing about it is that you build such a strong, solid base of whatever skill you're developing. Build such a strong, solid base that you can really then develop any skill or any attribute that you want to sort of continue on from after that. But that's because you build a base. It's because you've laid your slab for your house, right? It's just absolutely the most crucial thing. And to be fair, the best people in the world, they're given talent, sport, skill, whatever, never stop doing the basics because they're called the fundamentals for a reason. But either way, team, on that note, I'm done. It's a pretty basic podcast for today, but if you found this podcast beneficial, it would mean the world to me if you pass it on to someone else that you think would also find it beneficial. If you haven't already, make sure you jump on the Facebook and the Facebook. Search Mood Prep Community. I'd love to see you in there. And that's me done. Until tomorrow, peace and pizza. Kick today in the dick. Slay the dragon. I'll see you soon.
To be everything at once, be unblinded, be unlearned, be unbridled and unlearned.